Good afternoon. I'd like to call the San Jose City Council meeting to order for March 19, 2013, and we will begin the meeting with an invocation. On behalf of Councilmember Sam LICCARDO, I would like to welcome Jose Oscar Luna, a member of MACLA, to provide today's invocation. Jose is not only a poet, but he's also a sophomore at Downtown College Prep. Jose was born in Orange County, but raised here in the Bay Area. He first became interested in slam poetry after a famous poet visited his school in 8th grade. Since then, he has been an active member at MACLA and has performed at Brave New Voices for the past 2 years. He hopes to attend college and become an FBI agent one day. Please join me in welcoming our very young poet, Jose Oscar Luna.
I'd like to thank the mayor and council members for a great opportunity to share my wisdom. So, yo soy Chicano. I am Chicano. My brown skin hides stories running through my blood so that you have to get to know me, to learn from me. And I'll teach you. I'll teach you about my culture. I'll take you through my story, and by the time I'm done, you'll know what to tell them when they ask you who I am. You'll tell them, Él es la luna. He is the moon lighting up the darkness of the night. He wears his last name proud. Never forgetting his roots, he's a love hound. A hopeless romantic, he weaves lines together to attach his heart to another's. I want them to know that I am a son, got thrown into a broken family, struggle after struggle, but I still won because I am a survivor. I put up with all the pain, I'm going insane, but I am still a minority. I'll never be anybody's priority, so call me an advocate, and I'll stand up for your rights, because in the end, it's all the same fight. I'll inspire you, teach you how to hope, think of a new tomorrow and a better yesterday. I'm a 5 feet tall, perfect image of what it means to be free, thanks to those who are helping me succeed. Now let me show you how well I take the lead, but remember to tell them que soy Chicano. But I'm so educated and opinionated. You can't just write me off because my body is filled with color. I am the voice for all those who've given up on, the rope that helps them climb back up. I change the world one soul at a time, so tell them that we are a warning to all those who don't believe in us, a foreshadow of our rising up. We've had enough, and we'll hold every hand if needed, but by the time we're done with our mission, there'll be no need for wishing. Nothing will be impossible. We will be unstoppable. We're like the little engines who couldn't, but still managed to somehow do it. Tell them that our hearts beat in unison, together as one, even after death. Tell them that we are the bloodshed from all the wars our people have fought and those we have yet to fight. And finish it off by telling them que somos el futuro. We are the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any changes under orders of the day? No, can I have a motion? We have a motion to approve orders of the day. Are in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We now have the report from closed session from the city attorney.
There is no report today.
So we'll move right along to the ceremonial items. I'd like to invite Councilmember CAMIS and the Nazi Fahimi to join me at the podium. Today we are declaring March 20th, 2013 as Nowruz, Persian Iranian New Year here in the city of San Jose, and Councilmember Cameron has additional remarks.
I'm honored to actually give the first proclamation of my term here. This is my first term in City Council, and this is my first proclamation. This is the Persian-Iranian New Year's. Our city embraces a wide variety of cultures here in San Jose, and we have a very large and vibrant Iranian and Persian community here, and they're celebrating their New Year, which is called Nowruz. It's observed throughout the world, and in the West and Central Asia, North China, and it marks the day of the vernal equinox. They celebrate it with parties, feasts, and other celebrations. The Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great first declared, had the first written declaration of human rights, the first civilization to promote religious pluralism, and Cyrus inspired founders from our own nation to do the same. I want all of you to join us in celebrating Nowruz, and it's a long-held tradition that brings families together, and they give thanks for the new year. Right now, I want to introduce Nazi Fahmi. She is a lawyer, and she works at the Law Department Director of the PARS Equality Center, located on the Alameda. They do important work with immigration and in our community. Their mission is to support the full integration of people from Persian, Iranian origin into our community by creating a more just and compassionate community with Persians, Iranians of all cultures and beliefs can participate. Members, thank you all the members who are attending here, and Daryush Gilani, and I don't know, I didn't see Fariba, so okay. That's Daryush. Okay, and I want to wish all of them Nowruz Peruz. I hope I didn't butcher that. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. On behalf of the Pars Equality Center and our founder, Bita Daryabari, and the Iranian American community here in the Bay Area, I would like to thank the council members, Councilmember KHAMIS, Mayor Reed, and the Vice Mayor today, and the City of San Jose for recognizing the Iranian or Persian New Year. The Iranian New Year, as you just heard, is known as Nowruz, meaning a new day. It's been celebrated for more than 5,000 years and welcomes the beginning of spring, a season that heralds new births and beginnings. Iranians celebrate Nowruz for 13 days. The tradition starts by Hafsins, or the table of seven S's. It includes 7 specific items starting with the letter S in the Persian alphabet. The items symbolically correspond to 7 creations and holy immortals protecting them. The 7 elements are life, namely fire, earth, water, air, plants, animals, and humans. These items are a mirror symbolizing the sky, an apple symbolizing the earth, candles symbolizing fire, rose water symbolizing the water, wheat symbolizing plants, goldfish symbolizing the animals, and painted eggs symbolizing fertility and humans. As part of the Nowruz tradition, children are given money and clothes and gifts from relatives and elders. What is most widely exchanged are many hugs and kisses, and Nowruz Mubarak, meaning Happy New Year and Happy New Day with the spring. This year, we not only celebrate the Iranian or Persian New Year, but we also celebrate the start of new lives for refugees and other immigrants from Iran. Pars Equality Center was established in 2010 by Bita Daryabari, and I'm proud to say that we are now the first community organization in the nation that has a social services department and legal department as well. Our social services department helps newcomers and other Iranian Americans find jobs, take ESL classes, navigate school systems, medical systems, and often provides emergency resources for individuals in dire need. Our legal department provides guidance and analysis of various legal issues in many areas of the law and for individuals all across the country, and often helps these individuals find other resources or private counsel where necessary. We are also expanding now in Los Angeles and hope to continue to expand to serve our community. Again, happy Nowruz, and thank you again to the city, the council members, the mayor, the vice mayor, for valuing and recognizing our Iranian American community.
Next, I'd like to invite Councilmember Herrera and members of the Pacific Coast Farmers Market Association to join me at the podium. Today, we are commending the Pacific Coast Farmers Market Associations for providing economic opportunities for California farmers and food producers, local access to farm fresh products, support for local businesses and community organization, and education regarding food, nutrition, and the sustainability of California's agriculture for the past 25 years. And Councilmember Herrera has additional remarks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As Vice Mayor just said, we are honored here to have our Pacific Coast Farmers Market Association with us. We have the director, John Silveria, and regional manager Ben Palazzola with us today, and they seem to be bearing fruit, bearing some evidence of what they do, which is promoting health for San Jose and Bay Area residents since they founded the organization 25 years ago. So today we're honoring them for this 25-year anniversary. And throughout the years, they have worked to establish farmers markets throughout the Bay Area to promote economic opportunities and support for California farmers and local businesses, local access to farm fresh products, and public education on food, nutrition, and sustainable agriculture. The associations flourished in San Jose and throughout the Bay Area because they've established strong community partnerships. I know they work with us in District 8 at our Lake Cunningham event every year, bringing their wonderful pumpkins that make the fall festival so great. The Farmers Market Association started its first farmers market in Concord in 1988 and quickly spread throughout the Bay Area, coming to downtown San Jose in 1993. They worked with the Downtown Association to set up the first San Jose market at First in Santa Clara. And now the association holds 8 farmers markets in San Jose: Alum Rock, San Pedro Square, East Santa Clara Street downtown, in Barry S. on Hanchett Avenue, and at Kaiser Permanente and Santa Teresa in District 2. In Evergreen, the market was originally held at the Mirasu Winery and then the Evergreen Branch Library. Now it is, since 2007, at Evergreen Village Square, and very much enjoyed by people there every Wednesday and Sunday. It's been a great way for people to gather and get their first fresh produce. It also helps the surrounding businesses and brought additional business to the square. The association's spirit of community partnership can be found at each of their markets and with a variety of other organizations. And in 2008, they founded a nonprofit called Fresh Approach, which promotes the association's efforts to educate the public about health and nutrition. We're really grateful to have this Farmers Market Association as a wonderful community partner. I want to thank them for everything they do to promote local businesses, farmers, and especially promoting the health of our residents. And at this time, I'd like to ask Vice Mayor Nguyen to present a commendation to John Silveira, and John's going to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much, Vice Mayor and Councilmember Herrera and the City Council members. It's certainly an honor to be here before you. A big thank you goes out to all of our staff and the people before me at Pacific Coast that really laid the groundwork. And Ann O'Leary, the market manager up at Evergreen, can't be with us today, but she's really been a focus of making that market go and making it grow. It's been incredible working here in the city of San Jose since 1993 with the opening of the downtown certified farmers market. And I can tell you things are doing nothing but getting better in the city of San Jose. Really have to compliment the council and certainly city staff. We've had the pleasure of working with them in a partnership with the Health Trust and First Five. And there's not too many cities in the state of California or throughout the nation that have been so instrumental in cutting some new ordinances to make farmers markets operating within the city of San Jose a little easier. So certainly do appreciate it. And Councilmember Herrera, I think, said it all. And again, Ben, would you like to say anything to the city?
Thank you for inviting me. It's very nice to be here. I'll be working here in Santa Clara County and with San Jose, the city of San Jose, to help keep on trucking and growing our markets down here. So thank you very much.
And then, if I may, we do have a presentation on behalf of the Pacific Coast Farmers Market Association to the city of San Jose. We'll present a ceremonial basket with organic Fuji apples and Pink Lady apples, and those will be presented to the city clerk. We also have a beautiful 25th anniversary bag that we've made up special for the occasion. So, again, thank you for your support, and come out and shop the farmers markets.
We will now move to the consent calendar. Are there any items that council members like to approve or make comments? Councilman Rocha?
Request to defer item 2.3B, please.
Okay. 2.3B?
Yeah, just till next week.
Oh, okay. All right. Can I get a motion for the balance?
Motion to approve balance.
I actually had a quick question regarding item number 2.7.
Okay, 2.7. Sell city-owned property at Sunny Oaks Drive and Blossom Hill Road. Okay, we still need a motion and a second for the balance.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion for the remaining of the consent calendar. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So we will defer item 2.3B to next week, and 2.7, Councilmember CAMIS.
Yeah, I just merely had a question. When we sell a public property, and I'm not saying this is a bad deal, but I'd like to see the proceeds, instead of going to the general fund, go into debt repayment. And I don't know if it's possible for us to use these proceeds to pay down our debts.
You can. The charter requires that any monies not otherwise earmarked go specifically to the general fund. And then, as the power of the council with any general fund monies, you can use it as you see fit. So if the council desires to use that money to pay down debt, they could. It's the money by default goes to the general fund, and then if the council wants to expend those specific proceeds for that, they could.
And is there a way to calculate how much proceeds were in any given? These end up going into one-time funds, from what I understand, correct?
I think they do, and that's a budget issue, Deb.
Yes, they are one-time funds. The council in the past has had a policy of directing proceeds from land sales for certain purposes. Terry may know, but what we could do, council members, during this year's budget process, advise you as to how much revenue we are expecting, because some of that revenue actually goes to the general fund in order to pay for the real estate staff. And so to the degree there's a net beyond that, we can identify that, and if the council has any policy change that they would like to consider, then that should happen during the budget process.
Thank you. So I'll make a motion to accept the sale of the property.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the sale. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now, we're down to 3.1, report of the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I do have a couple of quick reports. Last Friday, I had the pleasure, along with many of you, to attend the graduation of the most recent police academy, first in 3 years, and although it was covered quite well in the press, I do want to reinforce just what a proud moment it was for all of us to see 43 new San Jose police officers get ready to take their positions with the department. They now go into field training, and they will be ready to hit the streets by this summer. By all accounts, I would say that this graduation really had just a wonderful spirit about it, and I think is a mark of a new beginning. And although we all recognize that we do have a long way to go before we can refill all of our vacant officer positions, this was clearly a major step forward. Some of you did ask me where did this graduating class put us in terms of our numbers, and so we will issue an info memo in the near term to clarify that for you. So congratulations, not only to our newest officers, but to the leadership of the police department for their tremendous commitment to keep San Jose among the best of departments in the country, and also a special thanks to the academy staff who just put their heart and souls into this particular academy. The second report, again, is a note of thanks to congratulate everyone involved in creating the new free downtown Wi-Fi network that was officially launched last week. And I would like to give a great thank you and shout out to Vijay Sameta, our acting Chief of Information Officer, and his staff, and Kim Wallish and her staff, as well as the staffs of the Department of Transportation and Purchasing, and of course to our private sector partners, Smart Wave Technologies and Ruckus Wireless. I think we can all now have bragging rights to have the fastest Wi-Fi in Northern America. Now we call it wickedly fast. And the other note here is that our staff just continues to do just wonderful work during very difficult times, bringing out all of their creativity and versatility to keep finding wonderful solutions for our community. So thank you, and congratulations to everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is 7.1, agreement with Pacific Gas and Electric for the Silicon Valley Energy Watch Program and related appropriation actions. Okay. We have a motion for approval. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 9.1, agreement with JP Morgan Chase Bank, NA for Merch Area Redevelopment Project Revenue Bond Series 196 A and B and Series 2003 A and B. And I believe you have a presentation from staff.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. And as the staff is queuing up, let me just note that item H recommends authorizing authorizing the Director of Finance to be the Chief Financial Officer for the successor agency. Actually, I have made that appointment administratively, but we will bring that back to you for separate action with the appropriate documentation for council ratification. Did I do that right, City Attorney? Thank you. So I'll turn it over to Julia Cooper.
Okay, good afternoon, Julia Cooper, Director of Finance. I have with me Arn Andrews, the Assistant Director, and Patty Degnan from the City Attorney's Office as well. Is Rachel back there? Nope. Rachel might be here too. She's going to help with any questions that might come up about land sales. So before you today, we have changes to extend the letter of credit with JP Morgan for the variable rate bonds for the former redevelopment agency. There's a little over $90 million in variable rate bonds outstanding, which were originally issued in 1996 and 2003 with 30-year maturities. The current interest rates reset weekly with the ability to convert to other modes. That's what's drafted in the current documents. They have a subordinate lien on 80% tax increment, which means the senior bonds get paid first and then these bonds get paid. And they're supported by a direct pay JP Morgan letters of credit. And they currently expire on May 1st of this year. This next chart, which, okay, it's a picture, so I wanted to make sure you could see it. Shows, okay, well, I will just start to describe. The picture shows an illustration of kind of what happens without an extension, there we go, without an extension of the JP Morgan letter of credit. So on the left-hand side, you can see kind of a stack up from the bottom in terms of the seniority of priority of payment of tax increment. So as you can see, there's clearly things that aren't getting paid with tax increment revenue, that like the convention center and the 4th Street garage. So if we don't have a renewal of the JP Morgan letter of credits, all of the 90 million becomes due and payable, so the little skinny yellow bar becomes a really big fat yellow bar. And so obviously it's really important for us to execute these amendments with the letter of credit with JP Morgan. So and I'm going to turn over to Arn. He's going to kind of talk a little bit about the new JP Morgan callable commercial paper program that they presented to us as an alternative to the current program.
Arn Andrews, Assistant Director of Finance. As Julia mentioned on the previous slide, if we weren't able to go into a renewal with JP Morgan, there were going to be significant consequences not only for ourselves as a city, but for taxing entities that are represented on the oversight board of the successor agency. One of the ways we were able to mitigate that is JP Morgan is currently utilizing a product that they are rolling out to all their clients, and what this product is referred to as callable commercial paper. So staff has been working to update all the existing amendments and agreements from the 1996 and the 2003 bonds to reflect this new callable commercial paper. Unlike the weekly reset that Julia spoke to earlier, this reset happens in increments larger than 30 days. And the reason JP Morgan wants that of its clients is there's new international banking legislation that is going to require banks like JP Morgan that if they have a credit facility on their books that expires within 30 days, it's going to be considered a one-to-one collateral charge for them as an entity, and they would have to pass those charges on to us. And so therefore, all their clients are being restructured to move past a 30-day period. I would just like to note a supplemental memo was issued. You received a draft of the remarketing memorandum, and that draft did not include what we refer to as some of the coverage tables, and it projects what is the potential history of tax revenues. And when we provide those to investors, we usually use a base case scenario, and that base case scenario is a no-growth scenario. And one of the reasons we do that is so that investors have the opportunity, if they choose to manipulate the data however they see fit. So when I say a no-growth projection, what I'm referring to is we don't make any assessments about new development in the area. We don't make any assessments about potential property sales in the area. We don't even include the annual inflationary adjustments, which could be 2%, and we don't try to make any assessments about Prop 8 adjustments. As I mentioned, one of the reasons we do this is because a no-growth scenario is more consistent with practice when communicating to the market. Any one of these variables could go up, some of the variables could go down, and in tandem, staff internally tries to project, but we don't try to make any assessments to the market when we come to the market. One of the other things I would like to note is the tables that you have actually reflect two scenarios, because there is one variable that we will know the outcome of, and that is resolution of what we refer to as the PERS levy. The county, during the legislative process, stopped passing the PERS levy to the city. This equates to approximately $7.5 million a year to our successor agency. And so the outcome will either be that we continue to collect the PERS levy, or the outcome will be that it'll no longer be passed. And so we present the data in two formats. One of the reasons that is important is because you'll notice in the tables that the representation that shows us no longer receiving the PERS levy starts to show that on an annual basis for a series of years, we actually do not have sufficient funds to pay the subordinate piece. I will highlight, though, that once again, this takes into account no growth assessments, and it also doesn't take into account the excess revenues from the 20% side. Currently, those excess revenues are pledged to Wells Fargo on another agreement, and we are currently in negotiations with Wells Fargo, and we hope to have a outcome that would make those monies available.
So with that, in conclusion, these anticipated amendments are an economic benefit to the taxing entities, which is pursuant to Section 34181E of the disillusionment legislation. So it avoids acceleration, it increases the stability of the debt structure, and it reduces costs. So those are the findings that essentially need to be made, and they're the findings that we'll present to the Oversight Board on Friday this week for them to approve as well. And this, just as a note, the State Department of Finance has been reviewing these documents as well, and we expect to hear from them sometime this week whether they approve them as they stand as well. So with that, we're available to answer questions.
Thank you, staff. Councilmember Oliverio?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So to understand, once those bonds are paid, that's when we can relieve ourselves of the J.P. Morgan line of credit?
Correct.
And looking at the chart, it looks like 2026 and then 2032. So numerous city councils will have to deal with this topic and the constant renewal of the letter of credit.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and our hope, council member, is that we will reach more of a stability with respect to, you know, the disillusionment process in the state of California, and hopefully we'll get to more multi-year extensions of the letter of credit as opposed to these annual renewals, which, as you know, are pretty laborious on everybody's part.
Correct. And then I appreciate the conservative estimates on tax increment growth, but in an ideal world, I'm hoping with the development, well, we're hoping that with the development that's approved, that will sort of at some point surpass and be able to make those more comfortable. And then remind me if, because it's 80% funds that are pledged, if the letter of credit, you know, was just called, where would the money come from? Because there's no money to get from us because those 80% funds are through the waterfall.
Correct. And so in the slide that showed what would happen in what we refer to as an acceleration mode, where suddenly all the monies are due and payable, what it means is right after senior debt service, to the extent that there are any monies available after that, those monies would have to be utilized to pay down the entire J.P. Morgan piece. One of the consequences to the city would be it just means there's less money available to then go on and pay other obligations, which include the Force Center and the Convention Center. And so, once again, while our primary task is to do this from an oversight board perspective, there are also relevant reasons why we keep our eye out on the potential consequences to the city also.
So the city would suffer the hit on the garage and the convention center, and then would it affect the credit rating of the city? Or it's viewed as a separate agency?
It's viewed as a separate agency, so it shouldn't impact the city's credit.
Councilmember, if nothing's changed, we also have deeds of trust on these to secure J.P. Morgan.
Yeah,
so there's additional security backing the letter of credit.
Right, and with the extension, I mean, as through the disillusionment process, the letter of credit renewal requires that as those properties get sold, 100% of the proceeds are to go to pay off J.P. Morgan debt. We describe that in the staff report as well.
And I think that's quite a series of properties too, if I recall.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd make a motion to approve if it's not already a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Councilmember CAMIS.
Yeah, first I want to thank you for this report. Thank you for coming to my office and explaining all this stuff to me. You know, this shows me exactly how complicated your job is, and I'm wondering about the money that the county is withholding from us. That when you said they're withholding about $7 million per year, can you elaborate on what happens if all of a sudden we're getting this money? Do they give us the years they missed? And then if it doesn't happen, where do we go? Again, we're going to go into default on these bonds?
The county has only begun in the last year to take the PERS levy amount, the $7.5 million. Prior to that, at no time did they deduct that amount or withhold that amount. So we're really talking about 1 year. And almost immediately upon doing that, we filed a lawsuit. The hearing in Superior Court in Sacramento is on April 5th. Hopefully we'll have a decision and go from there. But the short answer is there isn't a lot of money, fortunately, in prior years. But if it's serious enough this year that it really does affect cash flow.
7 million is 7 million.
Yes, if I may, I also want to point out the county withheld, but they also have put it in an escrow account pending the outcome of the lawsuit. So the money is there when we win.
I like that, when we win. Thank you very much for your report and for your time.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I believe that's it for the calendar today. We are down to the open forum, and I have no speaker cards. Our evening session is canceled, so our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.